12th, 2023. No, December 12th, 2023. 2 years before the crash. RL-42 is getting ready to land. Unfortunately for the crew, the visibility was not perfect. The plane was only going on slower and slower because of its final approach. But they decided to go a bit faster, just to not go too low and pull up a bit. They could barely see the runway due to the fog. At last, the runway was in sight, only at 100 feet in the air. Unfortunately, due to the strong crosswinds, the plane did not land on the runway and was now taxiing. For some reason, they were going 100 miles to get back to the taxi park to get to taxiing. But because of the tail strike due to the landing, after the passengers had gotten off the plane was now headed to a hangar to get repairs. So a similar plane, RL-72, had to deliver its passengers for the entire time until RL-42 was repaired. RL workers, aka ATR workers, did an inspection and saw that the tail was badly damaged. So it was now getting repairs. The repairs had to take from now to hold on. July 26th of 2025. Present day on July 27th, 2025 at 1:58 a.m. RL-42 was picking up some passengers. And now was taxiing to the runway. The plane had taxied. It was now speeding up. For takeoff. Everything was going to normal, and soon the plane had taken off at 1:59 p.m. everything is going to normal. It started off like any other day. The plane was going from Miami International, which is the airport we did depart from, to LAX, which we're going to use as Gulf Airport. The plane went up to cruising altitude of 19,000 feet. And this is not a tail breaking off episode. This is something else. The plane was now on its destination to Gulf Airport. But ATR workers, after repairing the tail of the plane, they did repair the service door that got damaged, which we're using as a cargo door, and it blew off the plane. The pilot had heard, so they were making a quick diversion to Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. I know that would probably not be possible IRL, but we're doing it for the sake of the video. Unfortunately, all the runways were cleared up, were all used up. Well, only 2 of the runways were used up. So they went to runway 23, which I know is not a real number, but we're just going to pretend it is. So they were now getting... Oh, wait. Hold on. Gotta keep this balloon off, because whenever I leave the game, it'll just reset. Soon descending, the pilots were now deploying the landing gear, ready for landing. The descent was going perfect, lead to plan, like all the other emergency descents. The emergency landings. But then it looked like the plane was actually descending way too low. So they just pulled up to gain some altitude.
500.
Quickly put the engines to full throttle. But they had gone around because they were too low. For some reason, the autopilot switched on for a nice, decent approach at 2:05 a.m. The plane was now slowly descending. Gear was now down. But then the pilot started to increase some throttle. It was only before approaching
300, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Unfortunately, the pilots didn't flare in time. Fortunately, they made another flight go around, which would cause that other flight for some delay. After all the passengers had gotten off the plane, no. After all the passengers had gotten off the plane had gotten into a hangar to get repairs again. Some more ATR workers were now repairing the door. And then the doors were repaired, so then now the passengers had gotten on and had taxied to the runway. But unfortunately, after taking off from Dallas, I was now heading to LAX, in Los Angeles. The plane had forgotten to refuel, so they only have 5 minutes of flight time remaining. So they decided descending to a safer altitude would be better. The plane was now descending to the airport. But for some reason, the chart plans for landing at LAX had swapped to Chicago O'Hare, which we'll be using as Shore Airport. So the plane was now on the descent. With only about 3 minutes of flight time remaining. The pilots had now set the autopilot to land at the airport. But there was only 2 minutes of flight time remaining. But then the flight chart had swapped back to LAX. But unfortunately, the plane had lost all fuel. Their only chance was to make it to LAX in time. But the pilots did not know they ran out of fuel. They tried turning the engine 1 and 2 back on. But then a text appeared on their screens that
500. 400.
they ran out of fuel.
Star 300.
Then the
Star
pilots
100,
pulled up
100.
and they crashed. Here's an inside view of the crash. Their only chance was to land at the airport, but they didn't know they had ran out of fuel. They tried turning the engines back on until the text on their screen appeared they ran out of fuel. They deployed the gears,
Stall.
but then started
Stall.
to
Sync
stalling.
400, 100.
Oh. Let's retry that because the crash did not happen in the water. The plane had ran out of fuel. Their only chance of saving this flight was landing at LAX. They tried turning the engines back on until the screen showed out of fuel.
Stall.
And the plane stalled
Stall.
out.
Stall. Sync rate. 400, stall. Damage.
And the plane had crashed. Now I'm going to try to get out of the plane. So a wanderer that was in the car heading to LAX for this same plane will find the crash. This was the story. This will be the end of American Eagle Flight 5874.
Stall. Stall. 500, 300, 200.
Oh, okay. Because of the landing gear, the plane was saved. We don't want that to happen.
Stall.
The plane began to pitch up.
Stall. Stall. Damage.
And the plane crashed. Wanderer had found the wreckage of the same plane he was supposed to be on. Landing gear and all sorts of parts were everywhere. Soon the turboprop airline investigation. Soon turboprop flight simulator investigation assumed that the crash was caused by. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, you can push it? The wreckage, but you can't get in. I wish you could get in. Some of the survivors had survived in the middle part, stuck upside down, while only one survivor was in the back. Fortunately, no one from the front of the plane had survived, which had been scattered all the way over here. So, what happened was, because investigators believed that due to the tail strike and the plane running out of fuel caused the crash, the airline was sued for $4,000 and on board, out of the 50 passengers on board, 45 lost their lives, and 50 minus 47, so 50, so 47, so, sorry, trying to do the math. Out of the 50 passengers on board, 45 lost their lives, Only 5 people survived. The investigation had come to a conclusion. More info, more updates soon.
Virá homem, porra.